Business that benefits society, technologies that make the world more convenient. Each issue of our program introduces you to people who build the future on the basis of the latest developments, principles of high social responsibility, and a caring attitude towards nature. The world of startups showcases advanced high technologies and their integration into all spheres of our modern life. Report from the competition Startup Kazakhstan 2018. Success story of Nomi Gadget. Robot assistant made in Kazakhstan. Almaty resident Ivan Kripak is a regular at Kazakhstan startup competitions. Last year, he took an honorable second place at the IT Championship, dedicated to the 25th anniversary of independence of the Republic, where he presented his invention, the first Kazakh smart lock. In 2018, he decided to try himself at the competition Startup Kazakhstan. I decided to take part in this competition in order to attract investment for my project. My project is a smart B-lock. I have already created its 9th prototype. I have improved its information security feature and its software part. Startup Kazakhstan is the first domestic initiative of international scale which is realized by the Autonomous Cluster Fund Innovative Technology Park. Recently, 40 new projects selected for participation in this accelerated program were presented in the IT quarter of Almaty. This is a program that gathers startuppers with a focus on CIS countries and, of course, Kazakhstan itself. The task is to identify which directions are more in demand and ways how to enter the market. Today, we hope to get financing for about 200 startups for this year, and every year this number will increase. The operator of the accelerated program is the Global Venture Alliance. It is an international company with extensive experience in implementing similar projects in Russia and the US, in particular in the Silicon Valley. Global Venture Alliance has 4 venture funds with a total volume of $100 million and 105 portfolio companies in its asset. Based on this result of the first set, participants will receive 140 basic seed investments. Joint fund Global Venture Alliance Alatau is a kind of instrument that will support the most promising startuppers and participants in this program. First and foremost, those startups that are selected in the accelerator itself will receive an investment of $20,000 to implement their project on the territory of the Republic. Of course, those startups that have passed the so-called custom development have more chances to win in the accelerated program because they have data that the product is in demand on the market and the client is ready to pay for it. This is one of the key central tests that startups will take place, and not all of them will pass. This is inevitable. Some sort of startups are always being eliminated, just because, let's say, not all hypotheses are correct. Kazakh parliamentarians forecast an increase in the gross domestic product to 30% only due to digitization. This high KPI is set today before the government of the Republic. Therefore, until 2020, within the framework of the Startup Kazakhstan program, up to 500 innovative projects will be financed and 50 high-tech, export-oriented companies will be incubated. American space company SpaceX for the first time launched a Super Heavy carrier Falcon Heavy to Mars. The rocket carries on board a capsule with a personal car of Elon Musk, a cherry-color sports car Tesla Roadster. At the wheel of the car is a mannequin dressed in a spacesuit. Earlier, the company showed a photo of the suit. As Musk promised, the car's audio system will continuously play the hit of David Bowie, Space Oddity. The song is about the fictional astronaut Major Tom.
This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door.
Telegram has completed the collection of applications for participation in the preliminary stage of the ICO of its own blockchain platform, TON. The amount claimed for investors is close to $3.8 billion. Early depositors will be able to buy the token grams for 30 cents, but later their price will rise to $3.50. Traditional investors participate in the preliminary placement of the messenger coins, which distinguishes it from other ICOs. 6 months ago, before the start of the crowdfunding campaign on the Indiegogo site, the start-upper Alyona Tkachenko did not suspect how difficult this venture would be. Then everything seemed to go according to plan. The prototype Nomi Wi-Fi router of the 4th generation was assembled, successfully tested. The only thing left was to raise the funds necessary to launch production of gadgets on an industrial scale with the help of public funding. Well, that is how it seemed at the very beginning. In reality, Almaty IT developers had to go through dozens of sleepless nights, hundreds of takes for the commercial, thousands of cups of coffee. We have to admit that the story with crowdfunding ended for our guys successfully. They planned to get $25,000 and in the end received $92,000. This is almost 4 times more than they wanted. Therefore, today Alyona is one of the few Kazakhstani businesswomen who can talk for hours on the topic, everything you wanted to know about crowdfunding, but hesitated to ask. In fact, it seems that everything is quick and simple, but when we received a brief of what we need to do, there were only 30 pictures in horizontal format, then 40 photos of the device on a white background, 15 photos of renders, each product from different angles. There were a lot of requirements that we didn't know about. Within 3 months, 1,200 pre-orders were made for a traveler's gadget, which distributes gigabytes of traffic at a speed of more than 100 megabits per second. And the geography of sales suggests that most of the startup customers are from developed countries: Singapore, Australia, Germany, the UK, and the USA. At the same time, the United States of America accounted for more than 30% of the total volume of pre-orders. Such information allows us to assess the need for the product in these markets and to identify its target audience on a global scale. Now our task is indeed to place all these orders in time, to follow up on delivery terms, to communicate with those customers who have made pre-orders. Plus, we are very much interested in the market of Southeast Asia now, and we want to find partners and potential investors there, and also register our company as a legal entity in Singapore or in Malaysia. Successful collection of the claimed amount on the crowd hosting platform is, in its own way, a marker of success, not only for potential investors. And this successful example of the Kazakhstan startup brought with itself other perks. A few weeks later, the company gained its first foreign partners. At the moment, we have 2 partners. One of them is from Ukraine, the second is from China. In Ukraine, we are now developing the final industrial design. This is the design of the case, which will be used already in mass production. We are collaborating with the Chinese on developing the motherboard that we will install in our final product. The first industrial batch of devices will be 5,000 copies. Their delivery is scheduled for June 2018, that is 6 months after the pre-orders. According to our Heroes for Crowdfunding project, this is the average time interval. As they say, it is not too late and not too soon. And in many respects, the future of the Kazakhstani Wi-Fi router for travelers depends on this pilot batch of product. Alexey Nazarov is the general director of the payment system. He has a vast experience in the field of e-commerce and banking software. Weakness is power. There is always weakness and strength. You only have to be able to find it. Achille also had a trait that led to its death. Jack Trout, Marketing Wars. Jack Trout's book, Marketing Wars, was one of the most important books I read when I was still a hired worker. And it was this book that answered many questions how to proceed further in terms of business, in terms of projects. Very often at the initial stage, we do not understand how to compete with corporations, how to work with the market. And this book was the answer for me. A vivid example in this phrase and the way it describes the work in the American market. There is a big player in the car business, General Motors for sure. Everyone knows about it. And there are companies like Chrysler, Ford, and others.
На американском рынке есть там один такой большой игрок в автомобильном бизнесе, General Motors, наверняка, все его хорошо знают.
So, this phrase is devoted to the fact that the strength of strong companies is often their weakness. For example, Chrysler used it as follows. Since GM had many customers, there were long waiting lists. Chrysler created a marketing concept that said we do not have waiting lists, we have a more targeted approach to the client. And due to this, it was possible to increase the market share several times. And this is a vivid example for any novice businessman. Large companies always have their weaknesses in the fact that they are a strong player on the market, that they have a developed network, a large number of offices, employees, a large number of products, but this is a weakness of their business. Your focus, your flexibility, your dynamism and brightness, which should be in any business, especially a startup, is your advantage, which allows you to achieve much greater results, often than classical corporations.
Количество продуктов и является слабостью бизнеса. Ваша сфокусированность, ваша гибкость, ваша динамичность и яркость, а это должно быть в любом бизнесе, особенно стартапе, это ваши преимущества, которые позволяют добиваться намного больших результатов часто, чем более классические корпорации.
Вы должны были в виде прохода.
As a passerby, you should have approached the old woman and attracted her attention with a simple question. And what did you ask? How do I get to the library at 3 in the morning?
В 3 часа ночи.
Today, to find out how to get to the library at 3 a.m., you don't have to ask anyone on the street. You can ask Darvis this question, a chatbot with a messenger interface. The first Kazakh robot assistant will not only pick up a suitable library, but also will have time for chit-chat. Recently, this messenger with artificial intelligence was presented by Alidar Utimuratov, the founder of Dar Company. According to him, the bot understands the context of the conversation and supports it, preserves information within the framework of one dialogue, and performs the task required from it. We started the development last year, somewhere in March, and in December we did a software launch. At the moment, without much advertising, we already have more than 20,000 users. Literally less than 2 months through our service, 11 million messages have already been sent. At the heart of the work of the domestic robot assistant is machine learning, natural language processing. With regard to artificial intelligence, this term means understanding the language and the subsequent generation of literate text, which ultimately contributes to the creation of a more convenient form of interaction between the computer and a human. The system inside the bot platform is constructed in such a way that it consists of small parts, each of which performs its own task. The information is transmitted asynchronously. This is one of the principles of the whole ecosystem. Today, the messenger with artificial intelligence is being developed in 3 directions. The first is mobile financial services, money transfers and gifts, public cash. The second direction is e-commerce. And in this sphere, the virtual assistant has already the first real clients, such as Gulhadisha Bakirova, the head of the sales department of a large floral online store in Kazakhstan. We see how the automation process is going. If earlier all the monthly reports were done manually, we drew diagrams, everything was done manually. Then after working for a month with the help of the robot, we can say what was the amount of our monthly income and which bouquets were the most popular. The third vector of Darvis's development is various auxiliary services that facilitate human life, among them language translator, weather forecast, news, and much more. This is a project that is aimed at a transactional essence, paying for e-commerce services, mobile financial services. Partners and entrepreneurs will pay us the so-called lower commission, that is, they will share margins. For the client, it will all be free, or with some very small symbolic payment. We plan to receive most of the revenues from the margins. In the immediate plans of the developers is to add the function of food delivery. In addition, the application interface will undergo changes too. And finally, Darvis will learn the spoken language and become a full-fledged voice assistant. Life has shown me, Darvis says. She began to search for this phrase in Yandex. Our robot won. What else can I say? Recently, a virtual bureau of lost and found has been officially launched in Kazakhstan, finder.net. Thanks to this service, any Kazakhstani who lost documents and any person who found the documents can post on the site applications for loss and discovery. The program will match the entered data, and as soon as it finds a coincidence of documents on the side of losses and on the side of the finds, it will automatically send the information. The parties will only need to call each other and arrange a meetup. OK Auto is included in the top 20 of the most popular Kazakhstan mobile services. In half a year, the application was downloaded by 250,000 users. With the use of this application, they paid their traffic fines worth more than 9 million tenge. For each paid fine, a small commission is charged, 200 to 220 tenge. This is cheaper than in the second-tier banks. Another task of the application is to remind drivers how much time they have left to pay a smaller amount for violating the rules on the road. By law, a protocol issued by a traffic policeman can be paid with a 50% discount within the first 7 days.